This is a show about getting spooked for fun, and neither one of the hosts are associated with the attractions discussed in any way, except for those skeletons in Devin's closet. Some topics may go from ghoulish to ghastly, so viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to the Great American Scream.
Hey Adam.
Hey Devin.
Happy late recording. I wanted to ask, have you done any rituals recently?
Can you be more specific with the question?
No.
Can you use it in a sentence? Country of origin?
Yeah, the country of origin is here. And the question restated in a slightly different way is, have you done any rituals in like the past week? I'm talking skincare, I'm talking seance, I'm talking meditation, I'm talking man in the fields.
Okay. Again, my Brooklyn apartment renders me unable to perform man in the fields for now.
Okay. Well, I mean, I would say that your lack of commitment
is what's stopping me from doing man in the fields.
Yeah.
Skincare, I try and be consistent as possible.
Okay.
Seance, not recently, although I have started reading tarot cards recently, and those tarot cards have repeatedly told me to go frick myself.
Away, yeah.
But yes, those are probably the extent of the rituals I've been up to. Why, have you been up to any interesting rituals recently?
Nah, I don't do rituals.
Do that stuff until today.
I don't do that kind of stuff.
Because
not since 1987. Because you remember back then I was crazy.
When the bite
and that ritual got. Oh, I didn't even realize I said the number.
You said the fun number.
All right. Well, hey, welcome to the Great American Scream. My name's Devin Wright.
My name's Adam O'Connell, and yes, folks, it's back, like the McRib.
It's happening,
as told by the prophecies, just like the McRib.
The McRib is the Ritual Games episode of the McDonald's franchise, which is to say, no matter how many times they tell us this is the last time we're going to do it, it's most likely not.
They do it again. And everybody gets really excited because, I was like, maybe, again, I think every episode I say we've kind of wrung the Ritual Games towel pretty dry, but they continue to be some of our best performing episodes, especially the very first one.
I think the Ritual Games towel is a ShamWow or a chamois. So even when you squeeze all the water out, it still feels kind of wet.
Okay. Ew.
And so it makes you think like there's gotta be more water in there.
There's gotta be something in there, right?
More. Maybe get a drip or two, but then it still feels it's not so much. It feels cold and still a little wet, and there's a bit more in there. Yeah,
and also. It would have bothered me if we finished it on 4. We got to finish on a nice prime number, a nice multiple of 5.
Okay. You're just not a fan of tetralogies? You're more of a quintology kind of person?
Is quintology a real word?
Probably not.
But that's fine. And also, we did a really research heavy... Y'all learned last week. You don't have to learn this week.
Yeah, I'd like to not learn.
Yeah, there will be no learning tonight. In fact, what's the opposite of learning?
Fascism, I think.
Okay, not that.
Cut that.
Yeah, but so I figured let's have some fun this evening. Let's do some more ritual games. We love them. Okay. At least I love them. You love them. Everybody's gonna have a great time. He, she, we. God loves them. I actually, I think this might be the last Ritual Games episode. As if the horse wasn't already dead, it's dead again by now. Like,
when has the deceased status of a horse ever stopped anybody in the media industry from beating it?
I guess, yeah, but like how until it's
that's us.
Yeah,
we're the bigwigs now, baby.
To reiterate what we've said in all Ritual Games episodes so far, please don't try these at home or do them at your own risk. If it involves anything stupid, don't do it. Just don't.
Just don't even. I'm not even leaving the door a little tiny bit open, like a jar. During the Man in the Fields ritual, I'm closing this door tight, and it is saying you can't do these rituals.
Yeah, use your best judgment. If you know you don't have good
no,
judgment,
stop it.
Find a friend with better judgment.
You're creaking open the door again. You're sliding a credit card between the hinge so you can try to jury rig it open. No best judgment. I have the best judgment in the world. I'm a perfect being. Don't do these rituals.
Okay, great. I think I have 4 for you today. A light smattering, a sampling platter, if you will.
I would rather a sampling. I don't like a smattering, especially when it comes
What about a smackerel? A smackerel ritual, as if it's
maybe a
Winnie the
charcuterie
Pooh
board
with honey, a charcuterie board.
Maybe an amuse-bouche.
Yeah, a little amuse-bouche of
which of course is French for amuse the mouth.
Yeah. So I think of a couple of different varying levels of ridiculousness and or scariness.
Okay.
But we're gonna begin by introducing another non-copyrighted character into our show's lexicon because
those are my favorite characters to introduce.
I bring you the Hooded Man ritual.
Okay, this is another man?
It's another man. There's a lot of men in these games, and like because we've talked about Daruma-san, I think we may have talked about Kuche Sakayana before. There's some strong women in there, but a lot of men in these games.
A lot of men. It's almost as though a lot of us are afraid of them.
Yeah. So you really only need 2 things for this ritual. One is 2 black cords, approximately half a meter long. We're in the metric system here.
Are we talking? Okay, so that's a foot and a half. First of all, in American.
Yeah.
18 inches. I need to know what kind. Are we talking like bungee cords, parachute cords, or are we talking USB?
It just says cords. The cords is spelled CORDS, so it is not CHORDS. We don't need 2 cords.
We don't need a black G sharp. Okay. That's
exactly.
Good. We don't need. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna make that joke.
And you need a telephone. A rotary phone works best if you have one, but it says, quote, using the ones we have today is fine too. I don't know when this was written, so I don't know what their today is. Yeah,
also, I don't know what to tell you. If you're planning to use that cord to plug that phone into that wall, rotary telephones don't work anymore.
Yeah. So there's a couple of warnings and precautions. I like when it starts with the warnings. That's always fun for me.
As we've established, you cannot give a warning after the ritual has been completed.
So the first thing is to make sure you do a cleansing ritual before and after you perform. A pre-ritual ritual and a post-ritual ritual, if you will.
I hate when a recipe is like, make sure you do this pie crust before you do this pie, and then you have to click through and it opens another new tab, and suddenly before the cleansing ritual you have to do the sage growing ritual, and it's got to click through on that. It's too much.
The author has added, from experience, I can conclude this is a relatively safe ritual, but it comes with its own fine print, so take everything with a grain of salt.
That's good. I don't have to do a whole ring.
Yeah, just a grain
of salt.
If at any point of time you feel threatened and or stalked by an unknown presence, you must not continue the ritual. If you do so, there's a good chance of aggravating and binding yourself to the entity that is attached to you. I'd say the first half of that sentence, if at any point of time you feel threatened and or stalked by an unknown presence, you must not continue, period. Good piece of life advice. Yeah. Just stop whatever it is you're doing.
Take out the preposition of with the ritual. We don't need it. No dependent clause here.
Whatever it is that you're doing, stop. Also, shut all doors and windows, close the curtains if there are any, and turn off all lights and electronic devices, except your phone.
Except this phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And finally, do not carry salt or any other miscellaneous item of protection with you while you're performing the ritual. So
I already put my grain of salt down on the ground to protect.
Yeah, you already took the grain of salt, so you're fine.
I usually keep about a tablespoon of salt in my pockets, just kind of all the time.
Just in case.
Don't tell Disney costuming.
Right, just in case.
But I already left it out.
So here's the procedure. First, be seated in a room or hallway where the telephone is. Make sure you aren't agitated, scared, or nervous.
That is an unchecked box perpetually.
Yeah, I'm always at least one of those things.
If I'm not agitated, scared, and or nervous, something is wrong.
Yeah. All these negative emotions will prevent you from completing the ritual successfully. Once you have, again, unclouded your mind, count to 13. At the last count, dial the following number into your telephone. 204-96888. 204-96888. That's not a full phone number.
That's not a full number. It's 8 numbers.
Yeah, and you need one more in there, buddy.
No, you need 2 more.
Oh, yeah,
you
do.
Less.
For the record, the 204 area code is to Manitoba, Canada. So,
okay, I'm just gonna check what this spells.
Ooh, we're escape rooming it, aren't we?
Yeah, I'm escape rooming it. Wait, there's probably a website for this.
Wait, hold on. Just look at it on like your phone.
I tried to, but it gives you 3 different options. We're not.
You gotta like decipher it.
Yeah. Phone number.
Could be ABC.
Word. Translator.
Well, the 0 isn't any letters.
It's a symbol. It's either a exclamation point. Let's see.
In the beginning, I think this is not spelling anything.
Well, that's boring. Okay. Give me this word. No, I want to go the other way. Oh, this sucks.
Also, don't touch the handle of the phone while you're dialing the number. It does not specify why, but don't do that.
Wait. Whoa. Okay. Wait.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What am I doing in this?
So far, all you've done is dial the number.
Oh, okay. I genuinely thought that was the end of the ritual because
I was
still looking at my other tab. Okay.
I thought you were still deciphering the phone number. Okay, so don't touch...
I thought the result of the ritual was whatever happened when I picked up the phone.
So after you've dialed the number, tie one of the black cords to the handset tightly so it doesn't come off when you tug it, and lift it from the telephone. Wait, tie one of the black cords to the handset.
To the phone handset.
Got it. And then lift it from so it doesn't come off when you tug. I see. Then lift it from the telephone. Then dial this number, 255-15823. 255-15823. Yeah.
It's another 8-digit number.
Not a full number. Leave the handset there, regardless of whether the phone gets connected or not. Count to 13 again and place the handset back. After this is done, say quietly, slowly, and carefully into the receiver, "Hello, I need a cab."
That's what I say when I show up to a party.
Yeah.
We're slowly carbon dating this post.
Yeah.
Because it was while cabs were what you would say rather than Uber. So this ghost the hood man doesn't know what Uber is.
Yeah. Then you take the second black cord and replace it with the first one. Extra tip. If you can, burn the first cord immediately. This will make sure your connection to the other world is severed completely and nothing from there will be able to enter our dimension. If you cannot do it right away, make it your first priority to burn it after the ritual is completed. Then open the curtains. If done right, the sky will have a tinge of some color. That's interesting.
Okay.
What, like any color? Like, does blue count?
You simply must be more specific.
Yeah. And there will be a black cab parked outside your house.
Oh, a black cab.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exit the house and bring a watch with you. You did not tell me that I needed the watch.
A watch, yeah.
You should have instructed this at the beginning of the ritual. And lock all your doors and get in the back seat of this cab. The cab will be empty, so you have no reason to fear anything as of yet. Period.
Oh, okay.
Lock the cab door and prepare yourself to fall asleep. I couldn't fall asleep in a cab if you like paid me $1 million. Like, there's no way I could fall asleep in a stranger's car.
If you stuffed me full of morphine, I assume this is how you take morphine, and try to knock me out, I will not fall asleep in a cab.
Yeah, in a stranger's car, never. When you wake up, in parentheses, which you definitely will, thank you for that clarification, take a look at your watch. If the time is 3:30 a.m., then you have successfully completed the main part of the ritual. If it's still at the correct time, then get out of the car and get back inside your house within 2 minutes, and then cut to the correct way of ending the ritual after this process is done. But if it does show 3:30 a.m., you've done the ritual right, and you will fall asleep again within another half a minute. When you wake up, the cab will be on a highway being driven by a hooded man. This is a lot of sleeping in cars, is this ritual.
There's a lot of sleeping in cars. Also, I will say that if somebody knew about this ritual and then got kidnapped and woke up and was on the highway with a guy, they would be like, oh, I just completed the ritual. Yeah. I've done it. Answer my riddles, hooded man. And the hooded man is like, stay quiet.
Here are some scenarios of what could happen. If you attempt to speak to the man, you will fall asleep and wake up back at your house. Low stakes.
Okay.
Just say hello and you fall asleep, you're back at your house. If you attempt to lift the hood, you will fall asleep and wake up back at your house. Sort of a Phantom of the Opera removing the mask situation.
Okay.
If you panic...
The hood of the man, not the car.
Of the man. It just says lift the hood, so I assume of the man.
You could be the car. Yeah. Check the oil.
Check that the engine is made of engine. If you panic or try and get out of the car while it's still in motion, you will die. Also, a good piece of life advice. Don't try and get out of a car. If you can avoid it, don't get out of a car while it's moving.
Yeah, this statement is true if not in the ritual. If you are just driving or riding in a car that is in motion and you panic or try to get out of it, you will die.
Yeah, do not, if you can avoid it, do not try and get out of a moving vehicle. If the cab stops at any point and someone gets in, do not attempt to speak to them or they will stab you to death. Very specific for the rest of this ritual, which is very non-specific.
If this ritual, this ritual can kind of go on forever, I assume.
There is a way of ending it, and the way of ending it is very funny.
Okay, good. That's good. I like to get a little foreshadowing in here. My thing is that how long do I have to sit with this person who I know is just wants to stab me so bad, just really kind of raring to go.
Correct way of ending the ritual. I am unsure exactly what you do while you're in the car, but I guess once you're finished.
I'm pretty sure this is an Uber carpool. Okay. Like the Uber pool thing where you get into an Uber with a different person who also is going near you. Uh-huh. This is just describing, I've been in some Lyft/Uber carpools where I was pretty sure if I said a word, I would be stabbed.
When you want the ritual to end, you must lean forward so you are close to the hooded man's ears and whisper slowly and carefully, I have reached my destination.
Every sentence of this ritual turns it into something completely different. Now this is a sex thing. Now this is a way to ritually find a prostitute.
Why do I have to sensually whisper in the hooded man's ears for him to stop the car? Why can't I have the pull string like on the bus?
Like on the bus?
Why must I whisper in his ear?
This is good because I do that to all my bus drivers.
From the glass. They have glass covering them too, and you get right up to that glass.
Not when I'm on the bus. Not after I'm done with it.
After this, you will fall asleep and wake up back at your house. If, however, you wish to continue the ride, I guess you're so charmed by the hooded man, you are welcome to do so. Although many people who have performed this ritual advise against it, claims that as the ride continues, the sceneries and worlds get more and more absurd and difficult to get out of. Nobody knows what happens when the cab stops, so you can try and find that out if you so desire. And after the ritual is finished, if you're back at your house, go back to the telephone and dial this number, 2000082.
6 numbers. Great.
6 numbers. Lift the handle, place it aside, and speak the following words. Thank you for the ride. I don't think you have to whisper that one.
Yeah, you can't whisper or else a van will stab you.
Remove the black cord and burn it. Bury the ashes in your backyard or... This ritual says, bury the ashes in your backyard or wherever and sprinkle salt over
Bury the ashes in your backyard or wherever. Wherever you do the ashes and other stuff.
Kind of gave up on the spooky ambiance at the end. It's like, do you remember when we were talking about Then Who Was Phone? And it says, so you are making out with your girl or whatever.
Or whatever. It's, you know how your dad has the place that he dumps all the lawn clippings? Mm-hmm. It's like that, but for ash.
Okay.
Wherever you put the ash, just put it over there.
Yeah. And sprinkle some salt over it or whatever,
Yeah, do whatever. Some paprika, perhaps.
And that is the Hooded Man ritual.
So there's no... The reward, the
you always
ritual
get
is its
mad
own
when there's
reward.
no rewards to the ritual.
I want to be able to ask the man some questions and get some answers. What's a fire and why does it? What's the word? I don't like that ritual. I mean, okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
We need to pull back the veil of the podcast a little bit.
Okay.
As my character on the Great American Scream, I hate this ritual. It doesn't make any sense. There's no reward. There's no point. But me, Devin, living in the world, the idea of being able to just kind of fall asleep for a long time and wake up and be on like a drive that may be nice and kind of wacky, and then fall asleep and go back home. That doesn't sound so bad, actually.
And with some sensual whispering in between.
Yeah, and we know how I feel about that. This is the ritual that I am most like, yeah.
Okay,
yes,
all right.
Okay, sure.
Cool. So let's move on to our next one. This ritual is called This Little Piggy.
Okay. All right, we're getting into it. All right, here we go, baby.
Here's what you need for This Little Piggy. A thick blanket, a white candle, in parentheses, any color will probably do. A lot of wishy-washiness in these rituals.
Probably. We haven't tested every color, but we're pretty sure.
A container of salt, and optional, a toy or something sweet.
Just to comfort you.
Yeah.
During the ritual if you get scared.
So you must set up first. You must cover all the windows, turn all of the lights off, turn off any electronic devices, kind of your standard beginning of ritual game thing.
Yeah.
Then you must open all the doors in your house. I love this song. We've done this song and dance before.
I love it. Play it again. Oh, you are? Great.
If you don't want to open your front door, open a window near it, but it still needs to be covered. This will help invite the spirits in. Okay, I understand. Okay. I like that it gives you an option not to open your front door.
Right, because some people get spooked by that.
Yeah.
I like the idea that I'm living in a place that is near enough to other houses that leaving my front door open may be a bit weird to me, but not far enough away that I should feel comfortable doing a ritual of any kind.
Other things to know. Living near a cemetery or area where people have passed away may increase activity in your home or the chance of calling negative spirits. I would say near a cemetery, that's valid. Area where people have passed away, that's everywhere.
Everywhere, actually.
So,
yeah.
And if someone has passed away in your home at all, this ritual could agitate or increase any lingering energy there. Again, a moderate possibility.
Definitely a possibility. Also, the thing is, if I had a ghost in my home, I feel like agitating it or increasing its lingering energy kind of lets me kind of scoop it out.
Like hit it with a broom?
Yeah, sometimes you need to get a stain like wet so that you can actually pull it out of the carpet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
There you go. Okay, here are the instructions. The game should be played by one person between 12 a.m. and 4 a.m. with no other people in the house.
Adam, I'm getting kind of old. It's becoming hard for me to stay up past 9:30
to play these
on a
games.
Good night.
The person who said who said this is obviously my cousin and I didn't listen to this. Go figure. So evidently they played it together. Thank you.
And they also probably mean our parents were downstairs getting wine drunk.
Yeah.
In the basement that my dad finished a month ago and was excited to show off.
After setting up, light your candle away from the bed so as to not accidentally knock it over if you need to get up in a hurry to abort the ritual. Very safe. Thank you. Not
a ritual specific instruction. This is good for any candle.
Yeah. Lay down on your bed, or the floor works too. Again, I love the wishy-washy multiple instructions this ritual is giving us.
This is so that when you're with your cousin, you can say, do you want to do a ritual?
Yeah.
And they're like, is it like really specific? And you're like, no. It's pretty open.
Yeah. This is where it starts to get weird. Your feet should also be bare.
Okay, we're getting back to a sex thing. Great, love to hear it.
Pull the blanket over your body, including your head, and leave your feet sticking out.
Okay.
Repeat.
every ritual has attempted to scare you and be like, hey, this is spooky. You're going to feel spooky when you light these candles in the dark. Putting a blanket over my entire body, including my face, and then sticking my feet out under it, imagining doing that makes me feel unsettled. That's the most unsettled and nervous I've been.
Repeat the following rhyme to invite the spirits. You're inviting the spirits of children into your home to play this little piggy.
Great. Not important to mention that before. I thought we were bringing a ghost pig into our home, but great. Inviting children spirits. This is a ritual for children. You adults don't do this. That'd be really, 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 really weird.
This is why you have the doors open and you light a candle so the spirits can easily find you. Then you must start the ritual by saying, I hear the voices of children close and your footsteps echo near. I invite you to play as it is no longer day and there is nothing for you to fear. After a minute or so, you may feel or hear the spirits enter. You must keep yourself covered. You may now ask 5 questions, 1 for each toe, where the answer can either be a
That's
yes.
not how many toes I have. Teacher.
I guess you only play with 1 foot.
Somehow scarier.
Where the answer can either be yes or no. It is up to you what you ask as long as it's a yes or no question. The answers you get are supposed to be as honest as children tend to be. So not completely
not
out of left
all.
field. Yeah. 1, wiggle, tug, or touch means yes, and 2 means no. So they are using your toes to answer your questions.
Adam,
it
has just occurred to me that we did not do the normal kind of meta narrative that I am doing these rituals as you're saying them, and I have never been more happy that is the truth. Because the idea of me being in my bedroom under a blanket with just my foot sticking out so that
ghosts can wiggle them.
Ghost kids can come in and tug on my toes is the creepiest, weirdest, absolutely ickiest thing we have ever brought up on this podcast.
This is important. As you ask your questions, your toes should be tugged from the biggest to the smallest in that order. It is possible for the children.
If it's the other way, it's the devil. And he's gonna take your toes out. Hell yes.
It's possible for the children to answer your questions using both of your feet. This could happen if you attract more than one spirit. If that's the case, keep track of the order in which your toes are tugged. For example, if the big toe on your left foot is tugged first, it should be the second largest toe tugged on your right, and so on and so forth. They still must go in order, no matter what foot it's on.
Okay. Still a max of 5?
Yes, max of 5 questions.
Toes between 10.
Yeah.
If you have both your feet out and there are a bunch of kids trying to get at those toes, they're going to swap between feet. You got to keep track of them.
Yeah.
These little buggers.
Now, here are some extra rules and things to know.
Okay.
It also says putting this here because everything up to this point is pretty much harmless. You just got some ghost kids tugging on your toes. Do not, under any circumstance, peek out from under the blanket, whether it's to see if anything's there or if you hear whispering, knocking, or other noises, unless you are aborting the ritual. If so, say the closing further down. There's a closing statement to say at the end. You don't want to encourage these spirits to stay by acknowledging them more than you need to, child or otherwise. Only ask yes or no questions. Don't talk to any spirits other than asking your questions and saying the invitation and closing rhymes. Don't try this more than once in a night. You want to avoid calling attention to other spirits that may be around. If you try for a few nights in a row without it working, try placing a toy in the room or something sweet to help draw the child spirits in. Don't do this ritual if your house has a history of paranormal events. Do not play this while intoxicated. Don't let yourself fall asleep during the ritual. Once you start, finish. And then now we're going to get into the Abort the Rituals list.
I'm already there. I don't like this. This feels to me like a web page that a kid wrote down the week before their cousin came over online so that the kid could be like, hey, do you want to try this ritual out tonight? There's this whole web article about it. It's got to be real. But it was a plant. And it was so that the kid could play a funny prank on their cousin and pull on their toes.
This was from creepypasta.gov, but it is very possible that a child put it
Joe
there.
Biden wrote it. That makes sense. Now it all comes together.
So, Abort the ritual if your toes are tugged out of order. This means nothing else is there. This means something else is there, rather. You can't control...
That makes more sense.
Yeah, you can't control what entities you invite into your house. Like a Ouija board, you may end up contacting or inviting something that you don't want.
Why would the dark entity still tug on my toes? Why would they not stab me in the abdomen?
If at any time during the ritual you hear doors slamming, knocking on walls, or noises outside the room you're performing the ritual in, say the closing rhyme and leave the house. Especially you hear...
Don't leave the house. There's a burglar inside and he's taking your mom's flat screen TV.
Especially...
It's only 23 inches. She thought that she just needed that because it stays in the kitchen so she can watch it while she's chopping vegetables. He's taking it and he's leaving your house. Go get him.
Especially if you hear noises in sets of 3. Also, if you feel the blanket...
Then yes, that's good. It's 3 burglars. You're a child. Don't fight the burglars. This isn't Home Alone.
If you feel the blanket being pulled down off of you, abort the ritual. If your toes are tugged without a question being asked, for example, feeling your toes tug before asking your first question or having one tug without having asked a question for that toe, you feel a sharp pain like a needle prick on any of your toes.
Because that means a kid is stabbing you in the toe with a needle.
Yeah. To end the ritual, recite the following rhyme. I am glad we could play as night fades today, but now it is time to go. My questions I asked, for that was my task, and now all the answers I know. Regardless, if everything goes well or you abort the ritual, say the closing rhyme to send any spirits away. If you abort the ritual, be sure to blow out the candle and leave the house immediately. Hopefully the negative spirit follows you out. You can return to the home after 4 a.m. When you return, immediately draw salt barriers around each door's threshold. This makes it difficult for the negative spirit to follow you around if it's still there. Leave a window open so it has a place to exit your home, like a fly in your kitchen.
Yeah, like a bird. Yeah, like a bird that somehow got inside. You always just leave a window open.
That is the This Little Piggy ritual.
I hated that.
Okay.
Kind of a lot. I don't like it. I do appreciate and respect the honestly solid rhymes.
Yeah, good poems at the beginning and the end.
Good poems, good job. Turn those into Mrs. Hoyt for poetry class in 3rd grade. She's gonna love them.
Yes, that was This Little Piggy. Moving on. We got 2 more. Got 2 more for you. A sampling. The rest of the amuse-bouche.
Oh, lovely. I'll take the second course, please.
And actually, this is very appropriate for it being a second course because this ritual is called a ritual for dinner. This is the dinner course. Those 2 are appetizers.
A ritual for dinner sounds like, this is my pitch.
Yeah.
I would say 2nd or 3rd in a series of young adult novels based around if monsters and witches and warlocks and vampires and stuff all went to high school together.
Okay.
And you invite your witch, you're a zombie, your main character's a zombie, he invites a girl who's a witch over to meet his parents, and she does a ritual, and and it's very embarrassing for her to do a ritual in front of my zombie parents. And it's the front of it is kind of a Goosebumps-esque
trademark
cover, and it says a ritual for dinner.
trademark copyright
trademark.
Okay, so warning. This ritual should only be attempted by those of whom have a reasonable level of culinary expertise and experience hosting company. The minutiae of the instructions are incredibly important.
When I say a tablespoon, I mean a tablespoon. It cannot be a heaping tablespoon or the ritual will not work. And by ritual, I mean the eggs. They will not turn out well.
As with any dinner party, a good host invites their guests to share their home. All the same principles of hospitality are similar to appropriate hosting standards, with one caveat. When you host this party, your home belongs to the guests. It is not your own. That being said, it's very important that no one enters your home once the ritual is begun, as it could catastrophically alter the host dynamic of this ritual.
Adam, are you about to explain to me the rules of the Whose Line Is It Anyway sketch dinner party? Because I feel like this is an elaborate prank.
Yeah. Okay, so here's about this ritual. For the purpose of this ritual, the term ritualist and host are interchangeable. This ritual was conceived...
For the remainder of this contract, the undersigned will be referred to as the host.
The ritual was conceived by 14th century master chef Guillaume Tyrrell. I didn't even realize we had master chefs all the way back in the 1300s.
Guillaume?
Is he real? Guillaume Tyrell?
That's what I'm checking. Doesn't sound like... It sounds like if Game of Thrones had a France in it.
Yeah.
He was a real chef.
14th century?
Known as Thai event, French for wind cutter.
Whack.
He was an important figure in the early history of French cuisine.
Whack.
What the hell?
This is amazing. This one's real. Okay.
This one's real.
The original details are not entirely clear, but rumors exist that the formula was not entirely of his own creation, but his was the first that resulted in some measure of success. Since inception, the ritual has been attempted throughout history, often with terrible results. Most notably, the Feast of Fools in 1430, which led to the attempted dissolving of the holiday by the Council of Basel the following year.
What? He had 2 wives.
Whack.
Guillaume Tyrell had 2 wives.
At the same time?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think so.
The guests are not typical beings and must be treated with a heightened sense of respect. And there are 2 major facets that compose this ritual: culinary and hospitality/etiquette. I love this.
This is starting to feel like an employee manual, and I don't like it.
It appears as though none of these are restricted by time or cultural influences and may be subjective to the ritualist. So,
that's
again,
good.
very free and open. So the goal.
I like that a lot.
Right?
Like, if a Japanese person were to do this ritual, them saying, like, itadakimasu, like, before they eat, that's okay.
Yeah.
Guillaume was like, yeah, no, that's chill. Food is about cuisine and cultural exchange.
Yeah. So the goal: if every guest is satisfied and leaves their own volition content, you may ask a favor known as the last question from one guest. As with many Faustian bargains, you may ask for wealth, power, or any other typical worldly desire, but you must direct the question to the appropriate individual, and the request must be very specific. You will learn which guest is appropriate for which type of favor throughout the night as you learn more about them, as any good host would. The guests are also known to be very fickle, so a great deal of importance is stressed on being clear and humble.
Adam.
Yeah.
This creepypasta author has created what I think is one of the most novel, unique, and compelling premises for a video game I've ever heard.
Isn't it cool?
You go to a ghost dinner party where you're the only mortal, and your task for the night is to find out all their unfinished business, learn about them, cook for them, be polite, and follow all the rules. And then at the end of the night, you get to find out which one was secretly God or whatever. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah. So the magnitude of your request must parallel the perceived success of your dinner party. For example, if you know you barely managed to survive, requesting a loved one to be returned from death would be offensive.
That makes sense. If you burned the quiche and the champagne flutes kept breaking on everyone, you're not going to be able to bring Jenny back to life.
Yeah. It's important to study these rules and stipulations, as once the meal has been served, the guests will arrive, and it'll be very rude as a host to direct your attention away from your guests by checking the guidelines. So memorize these rules before you start cooking.
Yeah, you don't want to pull out your guidebook while a guest is right in front of you.
So here's the formula. 5 dishes must be prepared, all in single servings and served in separate spots around 2 tables. There are small discretionary choices available to the ritualist, but they must follow the guidelines strictly. One dish will be served.
This is an employee handbook.
One dish will be served for each of the 4 guests, and one final dish for the ritualist. So you get to eat too. Yeah.
Okay.
So dish 1. There's a discrepancy between which choice works more efficiently, but both are known to serve true to function. Option 1, a dish cooked from anything that has been killed by the ritualist, but must be something the ritualists themselves would eat. So anything you may have hunted yourself. Or option 2, a plethora of clean, raw vegetables that are endemic to the region, preferably harvested by the ritualists.
If you're a vegetarian, don't worry, you can still do the cool French cuisine ritual.
You just have to pick your own veggies, and they need to be native to the region.
Yeah.
And it must be a plethora, a selection.
It must be a cornucopia.
Yeah. Dish 2, the finest cut of meat that the ritualist is able to afford. not that money can buy, that you are able to afford.
I love this ritual. This is a working class ritual.
Bovine tenderloin, beef tenderloin, is known to work well. In the account that the ritualist is a hunter, it's better to use a prized game of their own victory. The meat must not be fish, but it may be poultry, beef, pork, or game.
This is the coolest ritual I have ever heard.
Right. The dish should be served with potatoes or rice and bread. Gravy and or sauces are not mandatory, but are rumored to be appreciated.
Citation needed.
Yeah, citation needed. Dish 3. Perhaps the easiest dish to accommodate. Dish 3 must not be cooked by the ritualist. It must be cheaply obtained in a large quantity, lower in quality, and very calorically dense.
McDonald's.
Yeah, modern options have proven to be easily acceptable. McDonald's or such other fast food appears to be an excellent choice. So go get...
This is the coolest ritual I've ever heard of.
Go get a 50-pack of wings from Buffalo Wild Wings, and they'll be thrilled.
This is great.
Dish 4. Similar to dish 1, there are 2 main options available for your 4th guest. Option 1. Anything that may cause severe bodily harm or death to the ritualist if consumed, but must be organic in nature. If the ritualist has any severe allergies, those may prove to be an excellent choice. Otherwise, the flesh of a poisonous creature, such as frogs or the pufferfish, copious amounts of poisonous produce, typically fungus, serve well. The amount must be sufficient to kill the ritualist. So if you're very allergic to peanuts, just a smattering of peanut butter on a plate will do.
Wait. I have wait.
That's only option 1. There's an option 2.
If you eat 400 bananas, you'll die from the potassium poisoning.
There you go.
Give them 400 bananas.
Option 2. This option is in direct contrast to the previous choice. It must be milk, as fresh as possible, for no longer than 1.5 hours. From the source, human milk is acceptable. Milk directly from the cow's teat.
Is milk.
But it has to be fresh. You can't just get a gallon. It has to be fresh milk. It cannot be older than an hour and a half old.
I love this ritual.
Yeah.
If you cannot do option 1, the second option is milk. The second option is milk.
Unless you are severely lactose intolerant, in which case milk fulfills both of these options.
Right. If you have milk that's an hour and a half old, hope that you are lactose intolerant.
Dish number 5. The dish must be something that the ritualist very much enjoys, yet has infrequently. Think of responses you'd have if someone asked you your favorite food. This dish must be appropriate.
So I instantly forget every food I've ever had and go with something like salmon, I guess.
This dish must be appropriately enjoyed by the ritualist. It is recommended that it be a dish that the ritualist themselves has made on many occasions, and thus has very little likelihood of poor results.
Taquitos.
In one account, a host who had their own dish catered, not to their satisfaction, died of asphyxiation shortly after the meal was finished. So this is the one you eat yourself. It's not like courses. It's like for each guest. So since you're guest number 5, this is your dish.
I like this a lot.
Yeah.
I get to have taquitos.
Yeah, exactly. Yet hasn't frequently. Well, I guess you don't have taquitos frequently, so.
No, I do have taquitos pretty much all the time. That's fair.
And all of these dishes must follow the good host rule. All of these meals, aside from dish 4, option 1, the poison one, must be made in a fashion that the ritualists themselves would eat. If the ritualist is a vegetarian or vegan, any meat or dairy must be served in a way that appears to be the most palatable or alluring to them. So you might still have to cook or serve it, but it must be somehow palatable to you.
So, if you're some kind of a freak who, when preparing food for other people, you're like, I'm going to make this nasty. I never eat this. This ritual's not for you.
Yeah. Now, that's just one component. The other component of this ritual is the hospitality component of it. Like, it's not enough just to cook nice. You got to be nice.
Here at this company, we have 2 rules.
Yeah.
They are the good host rule and the hospitality formula.
Yeah, so...
Sharks, I'm here today for $1 million loan for 5% equity in my company.
My company for catering ghost dinners. Hospitality formula. 2 tables must be used in the performance of this ritual. 1 large table with ample room for 4 guests to eat and have place settings, drinking glasses, etc. This table should ideally be square or round so the guests are able to see each other and the host without turning their bodies. This is known as the line of sight rule. If any other shape of table is used, I don't know what other shapes of tables you may have.
Octagon. Triangle.
No one guest must be at the head or foot of the table. If a guest is at the head, another must be at the foot, keeping in mind the line of sight rule. The second table must be smaller, a smaller personal sized table. It may be large enough to accommodate multiple guests, but must be smaller than the guest table and only host 1 place setting. The 2 tables must never touch. This will be the ritualist table. So your guest will sit at one table and you will sit at another. This separation is important.
So this is your kids' table.
Yeah.
And you guys sit here and you have that little plastic cutlery.
Yeah. This separation is important. You may think of this distinction as though you are a servant permitted to dine with your masters.
Oof.
Yeah.
Strike 1, cool ritual.
Yeah. A typical formal layout of a 1-course meal appropriate to the ritualist culture must be set up, including, but not exclusively, fork and knife, water glass, wine glass, placemat, candles, servettes, napkins, water carafe, and wine carafe. In the event that a guest should run out of water or wine, it's appropriate for the host to fill their glass, although not mandatory, as the guests may pour for themselves. The carafes
If I was a guest, I would only pour for myself.
Yeah.
The host would get up and I'd be like, no, it's fine, I got it. I can lift the carafe. No, I'm good.
The carafes must never run out. If they appear to be low, the host must promptly refill them. The wine provided must be something the host would drink, alcohol-free if the host abstains from alcohol or another type of beverage, such as cider or juice.
If you're sober, you force these ghosts to drink O'Douls.
Yeah. Once the guests arrive, the ritualist has become the host and must follow certain hospitality guidelines regardless of culture. 1. Never touch a guest without their permission. Never has permission been given so far as anyone knows. 2. Never touch the belongings of a guest. This includes their place setting and meal once served. Their cup must not be touched if being filled by the host. Never directly address a single guest. Questions or conversations must organically find themselves directed at a guest if they were talking and you inquire about the subject. There is one exception to this rule, and that is the final question. Never address a guest by name or provide any sort of nickname. Even if you think you know their name, you don't. They are both non-dimensional and connected in some way to all systems of theology.
If you knew me in high school, no, you didn't. You know my ghost name?
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Never let the carafes run dry. Never let a candle burn down entirely. Above all else, never reveal your name to your guests. Such a title such as chef, doctor, political, or military position may be provided if it comes up organically. This includes nicknames and initials. The final question must be directed at the appropriate guest. The host must try their best to enjoy themselves. This may be the most difficult part of the rule to adhere to, as the ritual can be very tense and stressful, but consider, is any dinner party truly worth attending if the host is in shambles?
This is an employee handbook for a hostess position.
Consequences. The extent of consequences for failed dinners or broken rules are not fully known. In fact, there is potential to improve or change the ritual itself, although deviation is strongly advised against. Such consequences have been noted. A host or ritualist who fails to enjoy their own dish may asphyxiate or die of toxic shock syndrome.
Is that what you think it is?
Yeah, I was going to say, I only thought you could get that from
tampons. You can, if you are,
I guess not only
who is capable of getting toxic shock syndrome, you will die of it.
A host who fails to provide the appropriate or satisfactory meals to their guests may suffer a particularly gruesome end, or in one known case, lack thereof, that are specific to the infringed upon host. A host who fails to accommodate any particular hospitality rule may find themselves living an undesirable or so-called cursed life.
Wait, what does that mean? In one known case, lack thereof? Like the person didn't die and that was a punishment?
Like whatever happened to them, it was gruesome, but it didn't kill them. It's sort of a I have no mouth and I must scream situation.
Okay.
That's what I figure.
This is like good.
It's good, right?
Writing.
And here are a couple notable cases of success. Guillaume Tyrell, Demea, or whatever his full name is, in 1325. Unknown desire, probably culinary prowess. A Russian peasant and self-proclaimed mystic in St. Petersburg in 1915. Desire is believed to be lasting fame or infamy.
It was Lenin.
An abstract American artist, New York, 1959, desired simply to have a dinner party.
Me.
Yeah, that was nice.
Was me in my past life. I was the one who did it.
Notable cases of failure. This list is difficult to properly determine, as much of the information based on failed rituals appears to be little more than rumors, often attributed to sacrilege, worship of demons, such cases as the dissolution of the Knights Templar, insanity, or the works of political tyranny, such as the Great Leap Forward.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's rare that survivors exist or are even capable or willing to discuss the events of or their failures. It's also important to note that without understanding what it is the ritualist requested in the final question, it's impossible to know whether or not the ritual was a success. Despite Guillaume Tyrrell being the first truly understood case of this ritual, the earliest known historical account is also one of the only cases with any real substantiation of disaster. The failure of this ritual is thought to be the cause of the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79 AD.
Adam, I think this is the best ritual.
Yeah, that's the end.
Covered,
that's the whole thing.
Exists.
I think this is the best one we've ever talked about on the show.
Hall of Fame of all internet short stories, because that is what this is.
Yeah.
That's so cool and that's just so neat. I like this a lot.
An incredible concept for a video game. You're totally right.
Yeah, very much in the line of Return of the Obra Dinn or those kinds of
or what's that new one
like
that Inscription, the one with the cards?
Inscription. It feels like there is a very clear pitfall to me of this kind of storytelling, and it is when you say that works of political tyranny like the Great Leap Forward were resultant of it, which is that it can often turn into actually these people who were able to do this incredibly notable thing or had something terrible happen to them, usually ancient cultures that are not thought of as Western, those things were actually because of this magic ritual.
Yeah.
Like that.
That's messed
bad.
up, yeah.
But the fact that it dodged it for all except the Great Leap Forward, what a pull!
Yeah, it did pretty good with the rest of it.
Yeah, like I don't feel too bad for Guillaume Tyrrell being like dissed by saying that he wished for culinary prowess. I think he's okay.
Yeah, nor do I feel bad making jokes about the eruption of Mount Vesuvius, which did happen in the year 79.
Incredible! All improv, comedy, or drama can now be done because the best button to any scene or story that has ever been told is the failure of this ritual the failure of this cooking ritual, this Nintendo game ghost cooking ritual,
mama,
caused the eruption of Mount Vesuvius in ancient Rome. That's incredible.
Yeah, and I'm not even like those three rituals took such a long time. I'm not even going to do the last one, and honestly, it's not as good as the dinner party ritual anyway. So what's the point?
Oh my god.
Congratulations. And the Oscar goes to dinner party ritual.
And the Oscar goes to. That is, I want to do this ritual.
I think we should.
This ritual, if it were to work, would be delightful.
If you want to see me and Devin do this ritual, smash that like button, subscribe.
We have to hire people to play ghosts and do a whole night.
This would be a good YouTube short film.
It would also be a really good dinner theater thing. Like you go in and you... Yeah. It would have to be changed to not be one person, or else it would be four actors getting paid to interact with one audience member. But
anyway,
I'm obsessed with this.
Me too.
Need to find the writer of this so I can collab with them.
Yeah. Excellent job, creepypasta.
I guess you guys are okay over there now.
Yeah.
You can continue to exist. Wow. Thanks, Adam.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And thank you, listener, for listening to this episode 84.
84.
Put the ashes over there or whatever. 84 of the Great American Scream. If you enjoyed, please leave a rating and review on Spotify or iTunes, and be sure to tell a friend about the show. Adam, can you put our social medias, please?
Yes, I can. You can check us out on Facebook at The Great American Scream, or on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Great Scream Pod. Please tell, again, you can always send us your favorite ritual games, but also tell us what you would ask the nice dinner party people for. You can tweet at us or post using the hashtag TGAS. And as always, if there is something you would like to hear about on the show, make a tweet, make a post, tweet it at us, because your suggestion may become the topic for a future episode.
Yes, special thank you goes out to Michael Segudo, who does the intro disclaimer, as well as Stevie Viola, who does the intro and outro music. You can find him on YouTube and on Twitter. But a super special thank you to all of our Patreons at patreon.com/greatscreampod on the tier of Man in the Fields or higher. So thank you to Regina, Ben, Gail, Joyce, Melinda, and Chris. I've been Devin Wright.
I've been Adam O'Connell.
And hopefully you have been spooked, but not too spooked, to invite four little ghosts over so you can be the ghost host with the most.
I make a Faustian exchange for some kind of worldly desire.
A Faustian exchange over my salad and taquitos.